Before we get into today's Cowboys Report, if you want to beat the Raiders in what, as we'll get into, might very well be a must-win game, show it by liking today's video. More likes equals more likely it is the Cowboys win. The Cowboys are on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 11, once again in prime time on Monday Night Football. Cowboys are favored in this one, although depending on where you try to look around for some of the over-unders, it's hovering 4.5, 15.5. It's kind of bounced around. Pretty consistent, though. The Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites on the road, which is noteworthy for a team that has lost a couple games in a row, struggling at 3-5-1. The offense has taken a step back in recent weeks. Cowboys still have the number 4 scoring offense in football against a bottom 2 scoring offense in football. Honestly, if the Cowboys defense can't show up in this game, it's just not going to be a game in which the defense ever really gets going. I feel like it's just going to be the defense is never going to get right if they can't get right in this particular matchup. Couple injuries to watch before the first official Cowboys injury report comes out this week. DeMarvion, Overshown, Shavon, Revel are back on the active roster. Nothing yet on Perrion Winfrey. Could maybe still be a week away, but we'll keep an eye on his statuses throughout the week. Logan Wilson did have a calf injury for the Bengals before he got traded. I wonder how much of that was real, / if the extra time off has led to him being in much better shape there. Solomon Thomas did leave the Cardinals game with a calf injury. Haven't heard anything there, but just wanted to make note of it. Elijah Clark coming off the rib injury, which we'll see if he's able to go. Cowboys have made it sound like Donovan Wilson will be back, and I expect to see Ajani Cornelius continuously on the injury report until further notice with the knee issues he's battling. Raiders-wise, again, we'll see what the initial injury report brings when it comes out Thursday. Geno Smith had the quad injury against the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Last Thursday Night Football. We'll see if he's a full go. He was clearly in some pain, limping around a lot. Aidan O'Connell has been on the IR return list with a wrist injury. Could be back this week. Wouldn't be shocked if at some point the Raiders actually do play him. Sounds like Parham is not going to be able to go with his ankle injury, and we'll keep an eye on Tristin, McCollum, one of the reserve safeties, with a concussion. Now, I technically didn't play, despite what producer Aidan might claim, the must-win card against the Cardinals. This is the way this works. You get one must-win card a year. If you use it and they win, you get it back. You can play it again, because that's how the playoffs work, right? You get unlimited ones. If you use it and they lose, you don't get to play it again, because it loses its meaning. You can't keep playing the same card over and over again, expecting things to work on that front. The Cowboys sit at 3-5-1. The schedule is not easy down the stretch. If you harbor playoff hopes and aspirations, you kind of have to go on a run right now, because 3-6-1 is going to be pretty much impossible to recover from. And even if you win out, you're not even guaranteeing a playoff spot, frankly, at that point. So is this a must-win game for the Dallas Cowboys? I think the answer is yes. Let me know in the comment section, the pinned comment of today's video. Y for yes, N for no. Key to victory number 1, your offense has to show back up. It has not been good enough over the past 2 games. It's not fair, but the reality is this Cowboys team does not have the luxury of being able to put up 10 points and win a game over anybody, let alone a playoff team like the Packers. That's not how it works right now in Dallas. Overall, the Cowboys offense is still top 10 in most stats. Points per game, yards per game, being the most impactful. They're still 3rd in passing yards per game. They are 3rd in rushing yards per game 13th in rushing yards per game as well. 7th in EPA per play. Not always as consistent down to down. Success rate is down there at 10th, but they're top 5 offense in points per game. The Raiders have not been that great. Below average in a lot of different metrics there. Only 15th in yards per game, but actually dead even in EPA per play, 0.0, which is the first time I've seen that on a show before. Success rate is actually around league average. Also is worth mentioning, when you see that big gap between success rate, passing yards, and yards per game and stuff, sometimes your offense is really bad and hurts your defense. And that is happening right now for the Las Vegas Raiders, as we'll get into. Who they got in this one? C for the Cowboys, R for the Raiders. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. C for the Cowboys, R for the Raiders. Key to victory number 2, which ties into your defense. Do not let Geno Smith have his best game in insert amount of time that seems to happen every time a quarterback goes up against the Dallas Cowboys. I thought last year Geno Smith's interception issues were not his fault. Drops, missed bad routes. We wouldn't fully to blame. This year, it kind of is as bad. 12 interceptions against 11 touchdowns this year. His QBR is down there at 34.5. The Cowboys' pass defense has been bad, the same way it's been bad for about a year and a half. They're almost 2 calendar years, frankly. Half of this season, all of last year, half of the previous season, too. They are all bad in the metrics. Pressure rate, they're 10th, but they're also 19th in time to pressure and 22nd in sack rate. So delivering on those pressures, as we'll get into here in a second, is critical if the Cowboys want to pick up the much-needed win on the road Monday night. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. Weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. Keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. It is the only app to offer stacks. You can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup, more than passing yards, rushing yards, touchdowns on a quarterback. You can do that on Prize Picks, whether it's Dak or probably not Geno Smith, but you can do it if you want to. The toothpick power play producer Aidan cooked up for this game. Brock Bowers more than receiving yards. Quiet last week, but he is the entire focal point of the passing game right now. And Javonte Williams more than rushing yards. Can he get back closer to a 100 yard performance? You can also follow other Prize Picks players directly, by the way, on the Prize Picks app in the new feed tab. Friends, somebody partner, someone whose picks you like, whatever, Prize Picks has you covered there. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Key to victory number 3, you have to be able to generate pressure. You have to. And this is very true for about every NFL team out there. If the quarterback gets pressured, they are not as good. The Raiders have issues up front. Dylan Parham, I doubt, is going to play in this game. They already put Jackson Powers-Johnson on IR, so it could be a completely new left side line. Stone Forsythe has been a journeyman and has not been very good. There's not very many good offensive linemen on this roster. Your front, which I bet we'll see a lot of 5-man deployments again, has to get going. Should be a big game for Quinn Williams. Oso Odighizuwa had a lot of success in the 5-man fronts, as we've discussed in previous weeks here on the channel. Donovan Ezeraku, Jadeveon Clowney, going to get plenty of run at edge. This is a week in which they need to have not just pressures, but also get sacked. Geno Smith has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL under pressure. He's 41 of 76 this year under pressure. 27 sacks. That EPA per play, again, that's expected points added. Like, you take sacks, you turn the ball over, you're going to lose a lot of EPA per play, is a minus 0.69. It's not nice, actually, on plays he's under pressure. You pressure Geno, and it's a disaster class for the Las Vegas Raiders. So get pressure, because all of those numbers, sacks, interceptions of 5, EPA per play, bottom 2 in the NFL. Give me your score prediction of the Cowboys and the Raiders on Monday Night Football. We'll get to mine at the end of today's video, but your chance to sound off first in the comments. Key to victory number 6, you have to be able to bottle up Ashton Jeanty. The Raiders have tried to run the football. They spent a first-round pick on the back, and in large part because of offensive line issues, they have not been able to do a very good job of that. He gets contacted far too frequently behind the line of scrimmage. His success rate is 37.8, which again, success rate is, did this play move you in the right direction for getting a first down, keeping the drive alive? Essentially, are you ahead of the sticks, basically? And a first down, obviously, is very successful. But that's 37th out of 47 qualifiers. It's very bad. Quarterbacks included there. That's very bad for Ashton Jeanty. The Cowboys' run defense was much better against the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals used a lot of those heavy personnel looks. Cowboys countered with multiple defensive linemen. They were better. All their numbers essentially went up. Over the course of the season, They're still bottom 10 in everything. A lot of yards per game allowed, good yards per carry allowed, touchdowns a lot, way too many explosive runs, 10 plus yards on next gen stats. The stuff rate is bottom 10, which is, are you tackling them for no gain or a loss of yardage? EPA per carry is positive. Success rate is near the bottom. That's success rate allowed, way too high. They've been better after contact than before contact, but they're still fringe bottom 10 in all of those numbers. What is your confidence level in this Dallas Cowboys defense? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 the low end, 10 the high end. Go vote right now. Number 5, key to victory, and to an extent, these are kind of cherry-picked, like of cause-effect. You have to finish drives. Cowboys' red zone offense this year is 13th in the NFL. This is finishing drives for touchdowns, under 62%. Raiders are a little bit worse, allowing a 58.8% conversion rate this year on the defensive side of the football. But by game, you start to see some trends. They struggled against Arizona. They struggled against Denver. They struggled against Carolina. They were horrifically bad against the Bears. Turnover was a factor in that, but they were good against the Commanders, against the Packers, against the Giants, against the Jets. And in general, score more points, you're going to win more games, right? But in wins, the Cowboys are 9 for 11 in the red zone this year, converting at an 82% clip, which is awesome. In losses, they are 8 of 18, converting under 45% of those red zone chances into touchdowns. And then the tie, they're 4 or 5, because we have to put a tie in there because the Cowboys, of course, had a tie, and it annoys me to no end. Look, you don't have the margin for error on defense to not finish drives in the red zone. You got to punch it in. Now, we'll be live for the Cowboys-Raiders game on Monday Night Football. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. We'll be live hour and a half plus early before kickoff. Have some pregame fun, do some raffles as well. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. Finally, on my score prediction, I've got the Cowboys winning and covering in this one. 30-17 is my score prediction. I actively chose 17. My bold take, which the ceiling is the floor, right? The Cowboys will allow their fewest points all season on defense. That's like 21 this year, which is insane. But 17, I think, is doable for the Cowboys defense. And if you can get to 25 in that case, that should be enough against a struggling Raiders team. We'll see how they come out, but I do expect the Cowboys to win this game against the Raiders. If not, I might crash out on our live show again.